This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on cabinet decisions. The participants are Ashok Tandon, political analyst, and Chetan Chauhan, journalist.
The important decisions taken by the cabinet, which was chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. One of the most important decisions taken in the cabinet was upgradation of the mobile network in left-wing extremism areas from 2G to 4G. Mr. Tandon, can you explain that how this upgradation of the mobile network from 2G to 4G in the left-wing extremism areas will help to fight the rebels in these areas?
We all know the left-wing extremism areas in certain parts of this country have always been posing security threat, not only to the local resident but also to the national security also. So the government from time to time has been taking measures to improve the connectivity in those areas so that the security forces could engage these people in an effective manner. Apart from well-equipped arms, they need a better communication system as well. So therefore, the cabinet decision today approving a universal service obligation fund project for upgrading 2G mobile services to 4G at security sites in LW areas. This will certainly enable better internet and data services in these affected areas and will also promote domestic manufacturing and fulfill the objective of Atmanirbhar Bharat. And the cost of this project is going to be roughly 2,427 crore. That is a very significant amount which the cabinet today sanctioned, and this will go a long way. I think the funding of operation and maintenance cost of the LWA Phase 1 2G site by BSNL for an extended period beyond the contractual period of 5 years at an estimated cost of 541 crore. So this extension will be up to 12 months from the date of approval of the cabinet or commissioning of 4G site, whichever is earlier. So I think the upgradation will enable better internet and data service in this area, and it meets the requirements of the Ministry of Home Affairs, which is grappling with this issue, and the state governments also, because we all know these areas are in couple of states like Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra, Jharkhand. So all these state governments will also benefit, and it shall also fulfill the communication needs of the security personnel deployed in these areas, because we know a large number of our security personnel have laid down their lives in combating these people. So the proposal is in line with the goal of providing mobile connectivity in rural areas, particularly in the LW areas. And in addition, delivery of various e-governance services, banking services, telemedicine, tele-education, etc. through mobile broadband shall be possible now in this area. I think it's a very historic landmark decision which the cabinet has taken today.
Another important decisions which the government today took was enhancing the fertilizer subsidy under the nutrient-based subsidy scheme of the Department of Fertilizer for the Kharif season 2022, which will be effective from 1st of April till 30th of September this year. Under this scheme, the government has decided to provide fertilizer subsidy of 60,939 crores, which is a huge amount. The subsidy is for indigenous fertilizer, so freight subsidy and additional support for indigenous manufacturers and import of DAP. This diammonium phosphate is one of the highest used fertilizers in the country, and the prices of the raw material for this fertilizer has increased substantially in the last few months because of the cost increasing and also because of the Russia-Ukraine war. So the government has decided to provide a subsidy of rupees 2,501 per bag, which is an increase of about 50%, as the earlier subsidy was about 1,650 per bag. So in a way, it absorbs a large amount of increase in the prices up to 80%. So the increase of the price, the burden the government is sharing to 80%, which is a huge relief to the farming sector. So with this subsidy grant, this is one of the, I think, the biggest subsidy relief the government has provided to farmers in the recent past, and will help farmers to tide over the crisis of high input costs in the past few years. So this is a big relief for farmers across the country. Mr. Tandon, on this, and also on the cabinet's approval of continuation of Prime Minister's Street Vendors Atmanirbhar Nidhi program beyond March 2022 till December 2024.
The government commitment to help the agriculture sector and the farmers we all know how important the fertilizer and its components are. So you have very rightly highlighted today's cabinet decision with regard to the fertilizer. Now we all know that the government has been striving for the emancipation of the unorganized sector, and unorganized sectors includes the street vendors. The government policy of helping the street vendors under the scheme which was called the Prime Minister's Street Vendors Atmanirbhar Nidhi. Now the scheme has now been extended beyond March 2022 till December 2024. These people have never been given loan. So now when these street vendors are given loan, so therefore pre-loan corpus, it increased the adoption of digital transaction and holistic socio-economic development of the street vendors and their families. Now we see that most of the street vendors in urban areas particularly, they have the digital payment system with them, and it's a revolutionary step. So the scheme of affordable collateral free loans are now being facilitated to the street vendors. It is a big move, and the scheme had envisaged to facilitate loans for an amount of 5,000 crore. Today's approval by the cabinet has increased this loan amount to 8,100 crore in capital to further expand their businesses and making them Atmanirbhar. See, if the street vendors, they become Atmanirbhar and they have the digital payment mechanism, I think it's a huge achievement. And the budget for promotion of digital payments, including cashback to the vendors, has also been enhanced. See, the approval is expected to benefit nearly 1.2 crore citizens of urban India whose families rely heavily on the kind of business they do as street vendors. I think under the Prime Minister's SVA Nidhi, significant achievements have already been made. Quoting statistics if we can, as on April 25, 2022, 31.9 lakh loans have already been sanctioned and 29.6 lakh loans amounting to rupees 2,931 crore have also been disbursed. Now, as regards the second loan, 2.3 lakh loans have been sanctioned and 1.9 lakh loans amount to 385 crore have also been disbursed. See, the beneficiary street vendors have conducted more than 13.5 crore digital transactions and have been given a cashback of rupees 10 crore. An amount of 51 crore has been paid as interest subsidy. Now, this is a scheme which is directly helping the lower middle class, or rather people who are even marginal on the what we can call is the Garibi Rekha. So the proposed extension of the scheme has been necessitated as the circumstances that led to the launch of the scheme in June 2020, and that the pandemic and related stress on the small businesses, they have not been fully retracted. So therefore the extension was necessary. The extension of lending till December 2024 would assist in institutionalizing the access to formal credit channels, provide an assured source of credit to help them plan their businesses expansion, increasing the adoption of digital transaction, and reducing the impact of potential non-NPAs on the lending institutions, and providing holistic socio-economic upliftment of the street vendors and their families. Historic decision.
One important decision which the cabinet headed by Prime Minister has taken is revising the outlay for setting up India Post Payment Bank, which is basically providing banking services through Indian Post. Earlier, there was the 1,435 crore was provided as equity infusion, but it has been increased to 2,255 crore. The cabinet has also granted in principle approval for future fund infusion of up to rupees 500 crore for meeting regulatory requirements and technical upgradation. The payment bank was primarily to help the poorer people to open no-frill accounts in post offices across country. As we know, the post offices are there in every panchayat, in every part of rural India. So taking the banking services to most remote parts of the country through the post offices is the idea behind this. And it can provide quality banking services to poor people at not much cost. This is the idea behind promoting India Post as a payment bank. And this is one of the visionary steps of the government for less cash economy, which the government has taken. And it will also provide financial inclusion to the poorer society, which get a huge amount of money from government through direct benefit transfers, maybe Manrega or maybe other forms of subsidies, pensions they get. So they will be able to get the money at their doorstep rather than they have to travel to smaller towns or places to banks to collect their money. So through Indian Post, they will be able to get money at their doorstep. So the banking services will improve. Apart from this, Mr. Tandon, what are the other important decisions you think the cabinet took today?
So I may add to what you have already explained. In all aspirational districts, this scheme of India Post Payment Bank has opened around 95.71 lakh accounts, having 602 lakh aggregate transactions worth rupees 19,487 crore. And in left-wing extreme districts, 67.20 lakh accounts have been opened by 26 lakh aggregate transactions worth 13,460 crore. So the total financial expenditure involved under the proposal stands at rupees 820 crore. So this decision shall help India Post Payment Bank pursue its objective of furthering financial inclusion across India by leveraging the network of departments of post. And this includes the opening of a new Indian mission in Lithuania. And opening of Indian mission in Lithuania will help expand India's diplomatic footprint, deepen political relations and strategic cooperation, enable growth of bilateral trade, investment and economic engagement, facilitate stronger people-to-people contacts, allow for more sustained political outreach in India's foreign policy objectives, better assist the Indian community and protect their interests. So this was one of the decisions. And another decision which the cabinet took today was approval of the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between India and Chile for cooperation in disability sector. Now, this also, I think, is significant because the Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities in the Government of India and the Government of Chile, through joint initiatives in the disability sector, it will strengthen bilateral ties between India and Chile. A joint letter of intent was signed between countries expressing a desire for cooperation in disability sector, especially sharing of information on disability policy and delivery of services, exchange of information and knowledge, cooperation in assistive device technology, development of projects of mutual interest in disability sector, early identification and prevention of disability, and of course, exchange of experts, academia, and other administrative staff. So I think some of these decisions were very important with far-reaching implications, particularly the decision in the socio-economic sector for the upliftment of the people who are below poverty line or who are, as we said, the street vendors in urban areas.
Mr. Tandon, before we conclude, I want to mention here that Cabinet has approved very important 540 megawatts Kawar hydro electric project in Jammu and Kashmir over Chenab River. This project has international dimensions because this will help India to prevent excess water flowing into Pakistan, and it will also create about jobs for 2,500 people in Jammu and Kashmir, apart from generating a huge amount of electricity. But this is in line with what India has been saying, that it needs to utilize its water for hydroelectric generation and for creating jobs in Jammu and Kashmir, preventing excess water flowing into Pakistan as per the Indus Water Treaty. So this is a step in the direction the Cabinet has also taken. Mr. Tandon, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on Cabinet decisions. The participants were Ashok Tandon, political analyst, and Chetan Chauhan, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may email opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.